Hey everybody, how's it going? It's me again, Mike. I don't know if you guys remember me. Probably not, because this is only the second video, so we'll see how this goes. First week of school. Great. Fantastic. Met a lot of people, talked a lot about myself because I had to introduce myself about three times, I guess? Yeah. Classes were great. I mean, there's a lot of reading. First reading for my PR intro is 87 pages of dry material. Like, I have to read about the economy in China. This is Jack, everybody. He wasn't in the first video, but this is him. This is Kitty, and he just farted. So yeah, first class was great. I met a lot of people. We had fun chit-chatting about things. But the funny part was that I was in my video editing class, I think it is. It's like 8 o'clock in the morning, and we have to write on these cards and put them on top of our computers. Just our names so that the instructor knows who we are, so that he can address us properly. He had like 3 markers for like 22 people, so I was like, well, I have a marker in my bag, I'll just use that one. So I go into my bag, and I pull out a permanent marker. Like one of the big permanent markers that you write with. I don't know what to tell you guys. Anyways, so I use this marker and I put it down and I put my card up and it's fine. Everyone's writing their name on theirs, and I go and I look and my marker's gone. Alright, and I look over and the guy next to me is borrowing it. Without requesting, I'm just saying. But it's fine. So he uses it and I was like, oh, okay, cool, I'll just get it back in a second. He does not hand it back to me. He hands it to the person behind him. That person goes and uses it to write on his. So on and so forth. About 8 other people use it. Now, I'm not going on saying that I'm offended that somebody used my marker without telling me. The marker ends up at the front of the room, and the instructor is nervous, I think. He seemed nervous. But he goes and he's like, hey everybody, I'm so-and-so. And he's like, I'm left-handed, so please don't look too much into how messy my writing is. And we're like, yes, of course, not a big deal. You go and write on the board, write your name, we can read it. He goes and he writes on the board, and lo and behold, he's holding my black permanent marker and starts writing his name. And I'm sitting there and I see it, and I can see how like not dry erase it is, and I'm just like, no! And he turns around and he's like, what? And I was like, that's my permanent marker. And he goes, no it's not. And I was like, yes it is, believe me, I know. And he goes and he looks at it, and it's like cartoon, like, so upset that this whiteboard has a permanent marker on it. It's like, I guess this will come out of my tuition, I guess, just to replace this freaking board. But we figured it out, just so you all know, if you ever do write on a dry erase board with a permanent marker, all you have to do as soon as you do it is take a dry erase marker and color in over top of it, and then just erase it immediately, and it will take it off, like, really quickly. I thought that was going to be a myth, because once upon a time I spilt red wine on something and someone's just like, just pour white wine on it. But then all it smells like is an alcoholic. So don't do that. Just reupholster. That's what I'm saying. Like, first impression is I destroyed school property. So, like, that was cool. Hey guys, I did that. Yeah, the classes that start at 8 o'clock in the morning are fine. I wake up in the morning, as soon as I get into the shower, I just fall asleep up against the wall again. I'm just joking, I don't. I get out. I can't eat in the morning when I first wake up because I end up feeling nauseous immediately. So I don't eat anything. I just like pack an apple that sits in my bag until like 3 days later when I decide that I'm actually going to eat the damn thing. The classes this week ran very, very short. The ones that were supposed to be like 3 hours long ended up being like 2.5 hours long, maybe 2 hours long, but that's because it was all introduction. There might be background noise because Jack is playing, and it's also 8:30 at night, and that's just when he does it. Anyways, my first ever like lecture class, like lecture program class that I've never experienced this before. I've never sat in a room and just listened to somebody talk. I mean, he did like converse with us a little bit. He did converse with us a little bit, but It was not like, hey you, what do you think about this whole thing? It was like, why does anybody think this is wrong? You there, why do you think it's wrong? You're wrong, that's not what it is. But at the end of the class, he was talking about the syllabus and that kind of thing, and he said that, in it said that after week 1 or something of that nature, that the first 2 chapters for reading is due, so that we can all talk about the same topic in the next class. But because I don't follow instruction, like, well, I didn't know. I was like, so when the class was done, this girl that was sitting next to me, like 2 seats over, so she wasn't really sitting next to me, she was sitting alone. And so was I, and like, all reality, I was sitting alone. So I said to her, I was like, hey, so are we supposed to have the first 2 chapters read for next week? Or is it next week we start talking? Jack, come on! Dude! So I was like, so, like, do we start the readings next week, or should I have them ready for next week? Like, that whole thing, whatever. This bitch! I was like, oh. She goes, so far everybody's been very, very friendly. If I ask a question, they're like, oh yeah, let's talk about it. I think this should be this, and this. They don't talk like that, like they don't have that accent, but that's just how I'm gonna portray them to you. So, she goes, I'm really not the person you should be asking this type of question to. I was like, well, alright then, like, thanks, I guess. I never did find out. I'm just gonna do the reading and hopefully it just turns out well in my favor. So yeah, that was it. It was a cool class. The professor was very funny. I thought that he was a nice guy. And that's it. I was up way before everybody. In fact, I have a couple videos that I'm probably gonna tag in here somewhere that you can actually see just how big of a bag of shit I look like in the morning. Like, actually. Having class at 8 a.m. really isn't that bad. Just gotta get used to looking like a bag of shit all the time. I was like, well, I may not look that bad, like, it's fine. No. Like, do you remember when Snapchat started doing that filter where it put your mouth where your eyes were, and everyone started using it for Donald Trump, and it was really, really funny? Or maybe it was based off Donald Trump. I think it was based off Donald Trump. Anyways, that's what I look like. I'm like 6 o'clock in the morning and I'm like walking downstairs when the Starbucks first opens, which is a depressing feeling being the first person in a Starbucks, because I can brew coffee at home. I am very aware of this. But why should I have to? So yeah, brutal. I'm just saying. It's just a brutal feeling. But that's it. I had a great week at school. I had a lot of fun. I posted on my social medias. If you are not following me on Instagram, I highly suggest that you do, because I would love nothing more than to have more followers. Because then I feel like I'm not talking to myself so much. Like right now. And even right now, I'm talking to Jack. I'm just not making eye contact with him the whole time. If you would like to follow me, you can follow me at Mike1515. Now that's Mike, as in microphone, MIC1515. I understand that a lot of people think my name is Mick. It is not Mick. I am not cool enough to share a name with Mick Jagger. What else can I say? That's it. That's all for me. Bye. Thanks for watching, everybody. Jack, say bye. He's just staring.